just want to start by saying that at the IRENA assembly, which pretty much went over 13th, 14th and 15th, we saw a huge level of interest reflected from the number of delegates that joined us from around 120 countries. And the issues which were discussed have also got a lot of traction, because we had framed our assembly in a way that it could be seen as the first event for the energy sector after the COP27. So in a sense, we also tried framing our assembly and the topics for discussion into those areas which we think that IRENA will be able to contribute substantially moving forward and as a run-up to the COP28. With ADSW, we just continue the engagement and strengthen it over these next 2-3 days by bringing the stakeholders and by bringing the relevant topics, initiatives for discussion on the ground, all being built to showcase at the COP28.
Hello, I'm Amrita from a social enterprise called Sustainability Tribe. We have been educating society about climate action for 14 years in the UAE. Myself, coming from built environment sector as a professional, I know that buildings in the UAE almost consume around 60% electricity for cooling. And very interestingly, the announcement came that sustainable cooling is going to be the priority in COP28. So can you please elaborate more on that?
Sure. Normally, when you're talking to the renewable sector, because a lot of work has been done in Europe, you would find a lot of work happening on the heating aspect. And when you think of the built environment, then that's what you think about. How do you heat these buildings? But obviously, the region that we are sitting in, and also the tropical countries, they need cooling solutions for the built environment much more. And which is why, and even if you look at the kind of demand that's going to come up, there's a IEA study that says that every second 10 cooling appliances get sold around the world, every second. So the expectation is that if you're looking at 2050, you will probably triple the demand for cooling. And just to give you a perspective, that would be equivalent to what India and China consume today. So can you imagine how huge that demand is going to come up? And because not so much work has happened, I'm really happy that this is going to be the COP where sustainable and sustainable cooling is going to be pretty much on top of the agenda. There is a coalition that is being run by UNEP, IRENA and SE4All to start looking at solutions for cooling. And this is also something that the UAE presidency has been very keen for us to take those solutions forward. So through this year, there will be a lot of more work that will happen around this space. But you're right, it's pretty much not on the agenda of the policymakers right now, because heating is what gets talked about, not cooling.
Recently, Western media has been talking about COP28 presidency and UAE obviously being an oil nation. But at the same time, in COP27, there is a priority about loss and damage. It was actually taken on the table and it will be discussed more in COP28. Obviously, COP28 is going to give attention to Global South and what are their perspective. You just mentioned that cooling. It's very Global South kind of a topic again. So what are your views about energy justice because we are talking about energy transition and emissions, but looking at historic figures where these emissions came from, how much Global South has contributed, and what is the energy justice perspective on that?
At the Egypt COP, there was this realization, and now more as a run-up to the COP28, that the focus of discussion has been too oriented towards what the developed countries are seeking, and the discussions around what are the priorities of the Global South are not surfacing. So, which is why I think it was a very good moment that the Fund for Loss and Damages did get announced there. And there is a commitment from the UAE presidency to deliver a financing mechanism for it, which I think will take it a step further. In terms of what we are hearing from the UAE presidency, and actually you have to be in the region to understand what are the kind of initiatives that have been taken forward by the UAE, because in so many ways, I think it's been a very bold decision to host the COP in UAE. And the fact that there has been this boldness, it pretty much shows to the world that despite being a very large producer of oil and gas, the country and its leadership is looking very actively to help not only make beyond oil move for themselves as a country, but more importantly is also very committed to assist the other countries in also moving on along the energy transition pathway. And that's something that we were hearing a lot coming through. If some of you were there in the opening ceremony, you would have heard that one of the priorities that UAE has set for itself is unlocking climate finance, which I think right now is probably the key to get more deployment of renewables in the countries, in the developing countries that need that finance.